Alrighty guys, what is going up? Welcome back to another episode. In today's video, I really want to talk about why I just bought Buzz ETF. Now, this new ETF is a little different than a traditional ETF, but we're going to be breaking down pretty much everything you need to know for the new Buzz ETF and pretty much the reasons why I bought it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you get anything, and I mean anything in value, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you have questions, concerns, ask them down in the comments, guys. And guys, we have a course. You guys can learn how to properly invest in the market. We talk about fundamental analysis, technical analysis, how to find undervalued stock, taxes, dividends, REITs, retirement. We talk about it all. I'll put a link to that down below. So now, roll the intro. Let's go. So now the new Buzz ETF is a little different than a traditional ETF. Now, what it is it's actually an algorithm that searches through Twitter, Reddit, and a lot of the other popular social medias to find the most talked about stocks on their platform. And the most talked about stocks get bought up by this ETF. And yes, there is some criteria that these companies do have to meet to get put into this ETF, such as a market cap being over $5 billion, because a lot of people want this ETF to catch the next GameStop or AMC or companies like that, but realistically, those stocks do have a market cap under that $5 billion threshold, so they wouldn't even get put in this ETF in the first place. And honestly, there's a ton of companies that people care about and that get talked about that are companies like Amazon, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, companies like that. People talk about, honestly, more than these riskier investments. So now let's look at the top 10 holdings for this ETF. Now, the very first one here is DraftKings. DraftKings is a company that does not surprise me for being number one on this, because they are huge into the sports gambling, because they reached out to the one and only Barstool founder, Davey Portnoy, I believe is how you say it. I'm sorry if I messed it up, but that guy is a huge gambler in the sports world, and they reached out to him to pretty much promote this. So like I said, it does not surprise me with this being number one. Number two is Twitter. 3 is Ford. 4 is American Airlines. 5 is Facebook. Then we have Amazon. Then we have Apple, AMD. Then we do have Netflix, and then Tesla. So yeah, honestly, a lot of people think that this ETF is super risky, but a lot of these companies are blue chip stocks. They've been through recessions. They have a tremendous and a phenomenal history in the market. So I really believe on the holding side, this looks really, really promising and really strong. So now can you guys see kind of why I invested in this ETF? Now, one of the most important things for any ETF investor is what? The expense ratio. I know everyone always kind of blows that up out of the water, and because it's not a big deal, because it's just something you have to pay. But the expense ratio for this, yes, is a little higher than some of the other ETFs. This is around 0.75. So compared to the S&P 500 ETF, which is around 0.04, this is a lot higher than this. But the thing about this is this has a tendency to outperform the S&P 500. So pretty much you're paying a little more for a better performance. That's the way I got to think of it. But one thing you do have to realize is, yes, this company does carry a little more risk than the S&P 500, a little more risk than a lot of other risky investments. So, make sure you guys are diversified, but this is still diversified because it has multiple holdings in it. So now guys, the performance for this ETF is absolutely crazy. The 1 month performance is right around 2%, which is very average. That's pretty much what the S&P 500 has done. And the craziest part is the 3 month is around 19%, the year to date is 14%, and the 1 year performance for this ETF is 84%. So this is significantly higher than the S&P 500, which is around 31%. So pretty much you're paying a little more in the expense ratio for this stock to absolutely, or this ETF to like double what the S&P 500 does. So one thing about this ETF is there is around 75 different holdings in it. So yeah, you're still pretty diversified, pretty good. But if you invest in the S&P 500, there's over 500 different holdings in it. So obviously the S&P 500 is a lower risk, lower reward compared to the Buzz ETF, which is a higher risk, but also a higher reward. So you make sure you guys understand that. So now that we kind of have a good idea of some of the fundamentals behind this ETF, let's look at the technical analysis and kind of see how this stock has performed. Alrighty guys, so we have the Buzz ETF here, and really you guys can look at this. It hasn't been around the block for a while yet. This is a newer ETF, so really let's just look at the 1 week performance here, you guys can see that the whole market in general has had a lot of volatility and quite a bit of sell-off here, and this ETF is no different. So really, we do have a downward trend, but honestly, guys, I'm not concerned about it because of the holdings in this. There's a lot of potential, a lot of future for it, but overall, if we're going to break down some support here or lows here around 24, so that is a good opportunity to invest here. But right now, it's still at 24.85. So this ETF really does not move as much because of the multiple holdings in it. So I really believe, guys, this is still a perfect time to invest. You know, we're going to look back in a couple of years and wish we would have invested into Buzz ETF. And that's why I'm investing in it. You know, I'm only going to be investing right around $1,000, but I really believe that this carries a lot of potential, a lot of future. And it's a fun ETF. You know, it's an algorithm that searches the most popular stocks out there. So, you know, on the technical side, it's hard to judge because, you know, of the holdings in it. But, you know, it doesn't move much. So let's try to get into it under 25 and just hold it for the long term, guys. So that is it, though. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And if you did, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, concerns, ask them down in the comments. And we'll see you later. Remember to stay happy, stay positive, and stay safe out there. Take care. Bam.